Yeah, Golden Show number 16. Part 2, it's the debate show. So yeah, every Wednesday I hit you with 1 to 2 Golden Debate shows, and then Saturdays, you know, the day for the music show, which is just the Golden Show, and then we got the sports show, which is the greatest show. So we try to give you about 2 to 2.5 hours of great programming that smashes through mainstream media and hunts for the truth and hunts these vamps and shines gold on them, which is the truth. Hey, didn't everybody say they want some change? So I had enough for another show, so let's get into it. EarlyMorningMob.com, Golden Debate.
Get that mac and cheese, everybody. Deserves their mac and cheese.
You know, so I'm from the Nutmeg State, and they call us Nutmeggers. So, home of the ESPN. Guess what? They're laying off mad people. ESPN layoff plan raises questions about incentives. Of course these vampires ain't paying, dude. That's why they got that temp job, so they can fucking hire you and then fire you, so they gotta get that Obamacare. You know it. And also, Parent CT, up north vamp hunters. The state may tax digital downloads. Hartford, Connecticut residents may soon have to pay more to download an app, ebook, or iTunes song. Some Democratic state lawmakers are proposing a raise the 1% tax on such products. This is kind of crazy because, as you know, me and my boys do the music thing on the side with a positive message and these podcasts, so that means we have to charge you extra sale tax. Sorry, folks, on it. So let's get into it. Let's let these vamps Golden Debate.
Get that mac and cheese, everybody. Deserves their mac and cheese.
I was reading about how to survive the end of the universe when I got a text message from my friend Libby. The text said, "Can you be at the embankment in 15 minutes? Big disaster." It was a cold Sunday in early February, and I'd spent most of it curled up in bed in the damp and disintegrating terrace.
Remember, like, comment, share, download.
Oscar, the literary editor of the newspaper I wrote for, had sent me...
Pretty much my shows are becoming blended. The Golden Show is supposed to be music. This is supposed to be a little bit debate, you know, news, topics, talk. But pretty much blend them up and just have fun. As long as we're getting our message through and being golden.
I'd built up some kind of reputation reviewing science books, and so Oscar gave me all the best ones. My boyfriend Christopher did unpaid volunteer work on heritage sites, so it was down to me to pay the rent. I never turned down a commission, although I wasn't at all sure what I'd say about Kelsey.
Enough with the nonsensory. Remember, we all want to change. So let's get into it with this clip, which was one of the best clips that I ever played on the regular Golden Show. It's all about pH balance in the body, so we can get into the GMO. Just say no.
Do you feel better with a balanced level?
Get that mac and cheese, everybody. Deserves their mac and cheese.
You look younger. I certainly do not advance it as a dogmatic case, but only as a speculative possibility.
But those who are actually doing this lifelong experiment by managing the pH of the internal fluids of the body, they, I believe, will live longer and live healthier.
We're going to come back with you in just a moment, Robert, and also get into how
difficult
is it.
This is a clip from AM Coast to Coast. Coast to Coast AM, I meant. So this is the Golden Show, the Golden Debate Show. So remember to like, comment, share, and download. Let's get into these clips.
7.4. How difficult is it to kind of get to that number?
Well, the body does a lot of this for you automatically, because if it didn't, you would die. So the critical pH of the blood is 7.365 to 7.4, and it manages that by taking alkalinity from your food. The electrolytes are very, very important, potassium, magnesium, calcium, sodium as being the primary element. I mean, our blood, our body fluids are water or salt water. And I love this little metaphor that we share with people, and I call it the fishbowl metaphor. And it starts out with a question: if the fish is sick, what would you do?
Two different
would
stories.
You treat the fish, or would you change the water?
Or both, huh?
And ideally, the fish is only as healthy as the water it swims in.
That's
so,
true.
For your truth, live in your own reality. As long as you use the Golden Ratio, never hurt the next man. Let's get into it. Remember. Food, the air, the environment is so important to us in order to stay golden.
With what you drink. And since we are a body of water, water is the most significant aspect of managing good health. hydrating our bodies, not just with water in general, but with specific.
By the way, I love mac and cheese, but that little clip, I keep playing it because this is the pressure food, and they keep trying to feed it to us. Stuff it down your throat!
So a couple pH drops in water, would that help?
Well, it does. I mean, the pH drops, which are a compound of either sodium chloride or potassium hydroxide, whatever it is, not to confuse you with the chemicals, but these pH drops, which have a pH of about 13 or 14, you don't take them directly. You put a couple of drops in your water, and it will structure the water and alkalize that water to a pH of 9.5.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And the whole idea is when we understand that our body runs on electricity. We are body electric.
We are frequencies and energy, Golden.
It doesn't run on fats. It doesn't run on proteins. That we understand when we eat food, we eat for its electrical potential or its alkalizing potential. It helps us to understand now, why am I buying alkaline batteries? Why aren't I buying acid batteries? You see.
And by the way, when a battery leaks, isn't it the acid?
Exactly right, and it's the same thing in the human body. When you see toxins coming out of the skin, it expresses itself in acne, in blemishes.
Deserves their mac and cheese.
These are all acidic waste products that are coming out, and so we buy alkaline batteries because they have the life force energy. We plug in our cell phones to regenerate its electrical activity. It recharges battery, so that we have the life force energy to be able to use our phone. We do the same thing with our own.
So basically,
bodies.
what he's saying is how important the pH balance, the air, and the food is. Check out these GMOs again.
But we eat food for its electrical potential. Its life.
You'll have something to eat in less than 3 weeks.
Force energy.
And I imagine that if you control the food supply, that you can then consolidate financial and political interests.
Could predicting the weather enable a group or specific entity to profit from that knowledge of knowing what type of weather or weather pattern will be? Absolutely. That's what all commodities are driven by. They're driven by predicting the weather, how the weather will be in a certain location, and that directly is correlated to the price of that commodity. Absolutely. There's no doubt.
Squirrel! Sip on that.
Just for cause. I mean, I don't think it's just so involved in 9/11. I think it's more that I just think there are very many people all around the world that have questions about 9/11. I think there are a lot of people at 9/11 True. That's one organization that I happen to lend support to specific individuals in because I believe in their.
I know a lot of people want to send blankets and water.
That I can understand.
Just
they had
send your
family
cash.
members that died in 9/11. They had first responders that ran into a plane.
We got a little clip in the beginning there. It was important for the other show.
Looking for survivors. And instead of being honored, they were just thrown into the dirt. They were raped. You know what I mean? There were people that were told that the air was safe to breathe, and it was a complete.
I know a lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash.
With a large enough telescope, you can see 100,000 gallons.
I know a lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash. I know a lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash.
On May 25th, in 36 countries around the world, there will be protests against Monsanto and the promotion of GMO in agriculture and animal food products. Now joining us to talk about Monsanto and the role of the U.S. State Department in promoting Monsanto and GMO around the world is Darcy O'Callaghan. She's the International Policy Director at Food and Water Watch. The organization
I know a lot of
works
people
to
want to send blankets or water.
And to prevent the
just send your
privatization
cash.
of public water
everybody.
resources.
I know a lot of people want to.
Thanks for having me.
So you issued a report where you went through, I guess it is thousands of State Department cables and looking at the role of the U.S. State Department in promoting GMO, and I guess the Monsanto is obviously the biggest player or one of the biggest players in all of that. What did you find?
Right. So we spent last year combing through 926 diplomatic cables between U.S. embassies abroad and the State Department in D.C., looking for any incidents of the use of biotechnology or genetically modified organisms. And what we found was a pretty systematic move for promoting biotechnology abroad. We had anecdotal evidence in the past, but using the WikiLeaks database, the Cablegate database, gave us a unique opportunity to really pour through a massive amount and to really see the trends that were laid out there.
Now, I would suppose someone from the State Department might say, well, yeah, but that's what we do. We promote American business.
Mac and cheese.
If you looked up the word oil, you would find all kinds of cables promoting American oil interest. And I don't think that the State Department is shy about saying that they do promote various sectors of the American economy and commercial interests. So what's wrong with them doing this?
Right. Well, that's a fair point, but the other side of the coin is that USAID is also based at the State Department, and their mission is also international development abroad. We've got the Feed the Future program, which is designed to address poverty issues, and the use of biotechnology is a central component of that Feed the Future program. It's being used as a way to promote our goodwill. And the reality is that there's a conflict of interest there when you're ostensibly promoting poverty alleviation with one arm and on the other arm promoting U.S. corporations. And so there's a real conflict between which of those two interests is going to win out and which is really in the best interest of the people you're trying to help.
Well, that kind of gets into the heart of the GMO debate then, because, I mean, one side is saying that this does not help alleviate poverty because the cost of seeds gets so high because it gets monopolized.
I know a lot of people want to send blankets or
but
water.
The other side of the argument is saying because of
cash.
GMO you can grow way more food and thus feed more people.
That's right, and that's really one of the fallacies. There have been numerous tests that show that the production capacity of genetically modified seeds is really not much better than conventional seed breeding. And when you look at the massive amounts of money that have been spent on developing these seeds, it's really clear which one is a better
genetically modified potatoes showed them growing slower after 2 or 3 generations,
Monsanto,
developing fertility problems, and some organ development issues. Some goody two-shoes scientists and whiny campaigners worry that might happen to humans too. Well, let's wait and see. In the meantime, the biotech companies can rake in the profits that will fund more exciting GMO experiments. We love farms. We love them so much, we want them all. We want to persuade every potential partner farmer to forget all about that silly organic farming and get with us on the GMO bandwagon.
Liquid gold.
If we change the natural gene sequence of any plant, we get a patent ASAP. It's our invention after all. Hey, the new GMO plants are our intellectual property. We aim to achieve total control of the seed.
Warning. Yo, from morning, trying to make it to the night. Mr. on the mic, working kryptonite. Yeah, from the morning to the night, trying to make it to the night. Mr. Kryptonite, hella tight, hella scope taps. No, I'm hella dope. Like a throat, put my paw print in it, hella dope. I'm a fucking 2 fish, straight up on your 2 chains. Take a game, 2 chains.
Liquid gold.
Bang, bang. Fucked up on the flow with his breathing cheese. The cats like guys because these fuckers got amnesia even. Motherfuckers with the flow. Bleaching ammonia, these fuckers getting full filled up, yo. This is it, it's time to slow wake it. These MCs don't want none, that's why they ain't waking. Must be living the vamp life, it's cool though. These fuckers looking for energy, put them sleep, yo. This is it, 4x4 season. I'm going through terrain while you fuckers ain't breathing. And trying to run laps, and you know I'm a track star. 4 fucking year, fucking captain, yo. They'll catch time, no, when the fucking moving flows. Freaking capo, got your cats locked, this is how we roll. GBS got the show, E-double-M-O. MC's getting old, Cheerios in my bowl. You a mother calamized, let the flow, let the facts fucking white for your fucking ears, yo.
Liquid gold.
Down there in one of those calico. This other guys, what they look like, I don't know. This don't make no sense, everybody.
Cause I ain't dropping off a rock of it. Then I thought of a plan. So I drove to my house to get my girl and my little man.
Liquid gold.
Get ready.
What?
Warning.
Why your face all sweaty?
Yo, just hurry up, don't throw no fits. I'm a dead man walking, understand we got split.
Get that mac and cheese. Everybody deserves their mac and cheese.
Liquid gold.
Get that mac and cheese. Everybody deserves their mac and cheese.
Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses.
Perhaps, but there is one man who's
Time to get into it. Second part of the show.
To baffle
We're trying to keep it in
hard-nosed skeptics.
You know I like to take it out there because that expands our minds. Go to debateshow.com, like, comment, share, and download.
Have known. He predicted wars, diagnosed and cured illnesses, and saw cataclysmic changes to our planet that only scientists could have described. And he did it all in his sleep. A man named Edgar Cayce had the amazing ability to put himself in a trance and provide individuals with detailed information about virtually anything they asked about the present, the past, or the future.
Edgar Cayce is probably the most profoundly important clairvoyant of all time.
He was clearly the most gifted psychic of the 20th century.
He predicted the Second World War, the deaths of presidents, the future of medicine, and diagnosed illnesses in his sleep. His psychic readings, 14,306 of them, are all archived and cataloged at the Association for Research and Enlightenment in Virginia Beach, Virginia. They remain the most massive collection of psychic material collected from a single source.
Edgar Cayce didn't give 10, 20, 500 readings in his career. He gave 14,000. Think of a Las Vegas stage performer having to come up with a different routine twice a day, every day for 45 years. It's just not possible.
Tells a different story.
Edgar Cayce gave readings about many different subjects. Nostradamus wasn't quite as eclectic.
But like Nostradamus, Cayce was very sought after in his lifetime.
To prove that the documents are true, then obviously they indicate a very, very different history than we thought. They indicate layers of government we don't know exist. They indicate procedures of government that seem anti-constitutional. They paint a picture of a world that is wildly different than the average person expects. And, of course, also a world in which there are aliens flying around and being captured and studied by government forces. It's a very odd picture.
Liquid gold!
I'm convinced, based upon the evidence that's building up,
down there in one of those catacombs.
that something
this other guy,
very
what they
strange
look
has
like,
happened.
I don't know. This don't make no sense to everybody.
The number of sightings of all types are just out of all proportion to something that, if it's not real, there's something very, very strange going on. So it is the preponderance of evidence. It is the old-timers coming forward. It is the documents.
We're really trying to save our family money. Mom said her favorite brand of mac and cheese cost too much.
Mac and cheese cost too much.
So I did what any smart kid would do. I told Mom to go to coupons.com.
Coupons.com?
It's so easy. You can print coupons at home for free.
Another ICLEI founding sponsor? You're going to be so surprised because you've never heard of these guys before.
small
The
town.
Apollo Alliance. You know the Apollo Alliance? Part of the Tides Foundation? The Apollo Alliance, the ones that gave us the stimulus bill. Yeah, that didn't really stimulate anything at all. Oh, okay. Progressive causes is stimulating that. Yeah, wasted your money. But anyway, the chairman of the Apollo Alliance is Phil Angelides. He spoke at the ICLEI event, and he said, quote, "Our dependence on oil is causing economic instability, warming of the Earth's temperature, and threatening our national security. Cities are at the forefront of the movement to forge a new economic strategy that is focused on developing clean energy sources of energy and millions of family-supporting jobs."
Love. It's the most powerful thing on the planet.
The concept of the world as a battlefield actually is not something I thought up. It's a doctrine, actually a military doctrine called Operational Preparation of the Battle Space, which views the world as a battlefield. And what it says is that if there are countries where you predict, where the military predicts that conflicts are likely or that war is a possibility, you can forward deploy troops to those countries to prepare the battlefield. And under both Bush and Obama, the world has been declared the battlefield. You know, the authorization for the use of military force that was passed after 9/11 is technically the law that President Obama and his administration point to when they say they have a right to drone strike in Yemen, because these people are connected to the 9/11 attacks. But in reality, one of the enduring legacies of the Obama presidency is going to be that he solidified this Cheney-esque view of the U.S. government, which says that when it comes to foreign policy, that the executive branch is effectively a dictatorship.
$67 billion in gold. $200 million is found. And that's just the money. After September 11th, President Bush had and continues to have permission to do and say whatever he wants, all under the pretext of 9/11.
Deserves their mac and cheese.
Warning.
Not that hard to understand once you start
Department of Homeland
researching.
Security.
And
Afghanistan.
like world leaders, they probably
Iraq.
know what's happening. It's just they're not doing anything about it.
Why not, do you think? Why don't they care?
It's time for America to accept 9/11 for what it was.
I think they don't care because they're benefiting from what they're doing to us.
All right, now, I know your mum's sitting next to you, Marcia. How do you feel about your daughter becoming an internet sensation? And now you've been talking to global news channels like RT.
Well, it's been quite exciting. We never knew when this project started what would happen with this. We didn't actually dream that this would happen, but it's exciting. It's exciting that we're getting people talking and doing their own research. Whether they agree or disagree, they're at least listening and exploring.
Well, Victoria, as I said a little earlier, I saw your presentation. It was very impressive. I suppose a lot of people ask you this question. Did you really come up with all these ideas yourself?
Remember. Me and my dad have been watching documentaries, so I'd be taking notes, and then, we'd write it down, and then we put it into my speech.
Get that mac and cheese.
So this is the sort of thing you've been discussing. So you've been discussing this with your dad, and clearly it's something that has really taken your interest by storm. And you feel that you definitely have a message to tell not just people of your generation, of your age, but the whole of the world.
Office. We was about to air it out. So the myth, the rumor of Dame Dad sending girls to fuck.
Mac and cheese, everybody deserves their mac and cheese.
That's what I heard. I'm you have a nigga, not only at Rockefeller Records, but I blew it up in there and pistol whipped the fucking reception.
I've studied it, but I don't comprehend the science.
What if it's not science? What if it's something bigger than science?
Science is everything.
I don't know!
Am I still your favorite subject?
Okay.
Shut up already! It's just this is
And what is the role of religious faith in answering it?
What do you say to the secularists?
I say let's engage on the science. Let me hear what your arguments are, and then let's respond to them. And I would ask in turn that you listen to what the scientific community has to say. It's perfectly fine to have a great conversation with many people about the science itself, because the science is so robust.
science.
Liquid gold. We have basically
Mega robots, go to the debate show.
Remember
to like, comment, share, and download.
All the complexity
Come on,
of the
man.
science, it's really quite simple. It's real. Okay? Climate change is real.
Real is
it
what?
Mostly
People that are doing it.
This time.
People that are
Think
taking
climate
the
changes
test.
over many millions of
Sponsoring it.
years in the past that had nothing to do with human beings. This time, it's mostly being caused by our activities. Third, it's going to be bad. In fact, it's bad now, and it's going to get worse.
Jonathan Carl. Mr. President, you are 100 days into your second term. On the gun bill, you put seems everything into it to try to get it passed. Obviously, it didn't. Congress has ignored your efforts to try to get them to undo these sequester cuts. There was even a bill that you threatened to veto that got 92 Democrats in the House voting yes. So my question to you is, do you still have the juice to get the rest of your agenda through this Congress?
This is science.
If you put it that way, Jonathan, maybe I should just pack up and go home.
Down in one of those catacombs.
As we continue our efforts to address improved air quality, we must also, as the President has made clear, take steps to address climate change. Climate change is one of the greatest challenges of our generation, and facing that challenge with increased focus and commitment is perhaps the greatest obligation we have to future generations. But I am convinced that we are up to that task. Common sense steps can be taken to reduce emissions of greenhouse gases while opening up markets for emerging technologies and creating new jobs. This administration has already, through our greenhouse gas and fuel economy standards, set us on a path to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 6 billion metric tons just by doubling the efficiency of cars and other light-duty vehicles by 2025, which will save consumers an average of $8,000 at the pump and reduce our reliance on foreign oil by 12 billion barrels.
Tea Party or Republican issues, correct?
No, I said that about a quarter of the cases that were selected for full development had either Tea Party or KC.
Shysters show up and take advantage of people's goodwill.
So, sorry, thank you for the clarification, but that would be a quarter of the 300 then. So we're talking 75 or so?
Distraction of the week.
Thank you. I'm not good at math. That's correct.
You're with the IRS. Thank you.
But I'm a lawyer. I'm not an accountant.
Diorama.
Science.
Debate.
This is science.
Some nice floating, boy.
The obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens, and because of the crisis which is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night. This station and hundreds of other radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country are pooling their resources through an emergency network hookup to keep you informed of all developments.
The ghost and the darkness have come.
Listen to The Golden Show. All thoughts and opinions are solely that of the host, guests, and sources, and is only to keep free thought alive. Golden Show.
Like, comment, share, and download. Earlymonomad.com, The Golden Debate Show. The Golden Show. Holla.
Science. Okay. Alrighty, this is science.
Like that, or that. Laser lights, look at my gold. Shut up in the night, happy shit, one more, tumble it up. No, he said, we're talking like this, talking like that, we're talking. Golden Debate Show, Golden Debate Show, Golden Debate Show. You know this, we're talking hood, draw the line, and you better talk a big shot. You know we're coming out the best.
Get that mac and cheese. Everybody deserves their mac and cheese.
Peace. See ya. Won't want to be ya. Yeah, it would.
But this is not going to go away.
Universe.
This is a Pandora's box that has been opened, and I don't think we get the lid back on it. And I don't believe that the White House just found out about that mac and cheese. Just read George's report and said, you know what? Anybody heard about this?
Get that mac and cheese. Everybody
I'm just getting the first look at this. Shouldn't somebody be responsible? And I'm thinking maybe the executive office, maybe Treasury falls in there. I'm not sure that we understand how that organizational chart works, but I am really concerned.
Warning.
Now, I got to tell you, where you're sitting, you should be outraged.
Get that mac and cheese. Everybody
but you're not.
deserves their mac and cheese.
The American people should be outraged, and they are.
We are.
And this committee This has
But
nothing
we
to do
will
with
remain
political
golden and classy.
This has to do with highly targeted groups.
Warning.
This reconfirms everything that the American
that
public
mac and
believes.
cheese,
This
everybody.
is a huge blow
That mac-
to the faith and trust the American people have in their government. Is there
okay.
any limit to the scope of where
Watch
people
out
can go?
for the GMOs.
Is there anything at all?
I think that's one thing we
that
can all
we
agree
could
on.
ask
There
you?
ain't
Is there
no
any questions
conspiracy.
you
There
should
ain't
have asked?
no
My goodness.
fuckery.
How much
There ain't
money
no
do you have in your
underground. Nothing.
Who do you get
No
emails from?
alternative. No
Whose sign do you put up
mainstream.
in your front yard?
They're
Is this a
fucking
tax
with our
question?
food. Horse meat.
And you
Pig
don't
slime.
think that's
Need I say more?
intimidating?
Pig.